Welcome to the SA podcast. Sit back and enjoy our deep dive into cybersecurity topics and trends.
We get it. You're busy. Running IT for a smaller company, especially these days, it's like you're constantly sprinting just to keep upright and trying to keep up with all the latest in tech and, make sure you're getting the best for your organization. But the problem is sifting through all the noise to find those golden nuggets of insight, those things that are actually going to make a difference to your bottom line and, not waste your time.
Exactly. And that's what we're here for, to help you cut through all the fluff and get straight to what matters. And today we're diving into a topic that's probably hitting a little too close to home for a lot of you out there, VMware.
Oh, yeah. VMware, the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Well, maybe not 800 pounds, but you know what I mean. It's a big name. It's been the go-to solution for virtualization for, how long has it been? Seems like forever. But here's the thing. VMware is getting pricey.
It is really pricey.
Like really, really pricey. And for smaller companies already working with, tighter budgets, having to make those tough decisions about where to allocate resources, well, it's getting harder and harder to justify the cost of VMware when you've got all these other competing priorities, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just about the raw cost of the software licenses either. You've got to factor in all the other associated expenses, the implementation, the maintenance, the training. It all adds up. And for smaller businesses, it can be a real barrier to entry.
Exactly. And that's the big problem. Smaller companies, they need these functionalities just as much as the big guys. Maybe even more so. They need that robust virtualization. They need reliable disaster recovery, all those critical capabilities that VMware provides.
Right. And it's almost like we're being priced out of the market, forced to settle for less robust solutions that maybe don't quite meet their needs or, compromise on security or performance.
Which nobody wants to do. Nobody. So that's what we're going to unpack today in our deep dive. Why is VMware's pricing becoming such a pain point for smaller businesses? But more importantly, what are the alternatives? Are there solutions out there that can give these companies the functionality they need without breaking the bank?
That's the million-dollar question. And thankfully, the answer is yes. There are solutions out there.
There are? Okay, tell me more.
We've been poring over a really fascinating document packed with real-world case studies and some in-depth analysis. It's called the VMware to ZStack Case Collection-1.pdf.
ZStack. Okay, that's a name I've heard, but to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it.
Well, you're in for a treat. This document goes deep into how companies are ditching VMware and making the switch to ZStack. And get this, seeing some pretty amazing results, improved performance, enhanced security, even saving a ton of money in the process.
Okay, you've got my attention. So let's break it down. What is ZStack exactly?
ZStack is essentially a comprehensive cloud infrastructure software. It's kind of like VMware in that it offers a full suite of virtualization features, but with a key difference, it's designed to be much more affordable and accessible, especially for smaller companies.
Affordable and accessible. Music to my ears.
Right. And it's not some fly-by-night operation either. ZStack has been around since 2015, so they've got a solid track record and a lot of experience under their belt.
So they're not just some Johnny-come-lately trying to ride the coattails of VMware's success.
Nope. They're a legitimate player in the market. And the fact that they're gaining traction with companies who are moving away from VMware, well, that speaks volumes.
Okay, I'm sold on the fact that ZStack is a real contender. But what makes it so special? What are the key advantages that this document highlights?
So the first thing that really jumps out is the compatibility.
Compatibility.
Meaning you don't have to tear down your entire IT infrastructure to switch over to ZStack. They've built it to be super compatible with a wide range of hardware, including AMD and Intel processors, even non-by86 architectures. So you can leverage your existing investments, which, again, is a huge plus for smaller companies.
So it's not an all-or-nothing proposition. You can transition gradually.
Exactly. And they've got a really impressive range of functionalities, too. We're talking about the core stuff like compute virtualization, network virtualization, storage virtualization. But they also go beyond that with bare metal provisioning, disaster recovery, continuous data protection, billing and alarm monitoring, you name it.
So they're not just checking the boxes. They're really going above and beyond to provide a comprehensive solution.
Absolutely. And they offer professional migration services too. They realize that moving from one platform to another can be daunting, so they've got dedicated solutions to make the transition as smooth and painless as possible.
Okay, so they've got the tech covered. But what about the softer side of things? The support, the expertise, the hand-holding?
They've got that covered too. The document emphasizes what they call their 4S features: security, stability, scalability, and serviceability. These are kind of their core pillars, and they really shine through in the case studies.
Security, stability, scalability, and serviceability. Got it. But you know what they say? The proof is in the pudding, right? So let's dive into those case studies. Give me some real-world examples of how ZStack is making a difference for companies who've made the switch.
Okay, let's start with the Jiangxi Financial Development Group. They're a big player in the financial sector, and they're using ZStack Cloud to support 2 massive computing clusters and 3 major storage resource pools.
Wow, that's a serious amount of infrastructure.
It is. And they reported a super smooth migration process, and their operations have been stable ever since.
So they're not just surviving, they're thriving on ZStack.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It is. And then you've got GLE Payment Co., Ltd.
Yeah.
They handle, online payments. So security and stability are absolutely mission critical for them. They adopted ZStack for their core computing and storage resources, and they were blown away by the enhanced security and stability they achieved.
Okay, so in the world of payments, where every second counts and every transaction matters, they're trusting ZStack. That says a lot.
Right. And there's a national comprehensive securities company that's using ZStack for a phased cloud platform transformation. Their big goals were risk avoidance and better cost control.
Makes sense. In the financial sector, you can't afford to be reckless.
Exactly. And they're seeing some really great results with ZStack. Then there's Jiangkai Securities Co., Ltd. They went all in on a no-by-86 transformation using ZStack Cloud.
No-by-86. So they're moving away from the traditional Intel architecture.
Yep. And they're seeing some major value from that decision. Then you've got a really interesting case study of a AA-rated futures company.
Futures company. So we're talking about high-stakes, high-pressure financial trading.
Right. And they were using VMware, but they switched to ZStack and found it to be much more stable and much more cost-effective. I mean, think about it. A futures company dealing with massive volumes of transactions needs rock-solid stability. The fact that they chose ZStack over VMware speaks volumes.
That's a powerful endorsement for sure.
Absolutely. Now let's move into the education sector. The Zhejiang University of Finance and Economics is using ZStack HCI for their entire campus IT infrastructure.
ZStack HCI, what's that?
It stands for Hyperconverged Infrastructure. It's basically a way to simplify IT management by combining compute, storage, and networking into a single system.
Ah, so it's like a one-stop shop for all your IT needs.
Pretty much. And they're also using ZStack's Open API for secondary development.
Open API, meaning?
It means they can customize and extend the platform to meet their specific needs, which is a huge advantage in a university setting where you've got so many different departments and use cases.
Universities always seem to have the most complex IT environments.
They do. And then you've got the Beijing University of Chemical Technology. They built a hybrid cloud environment using ZStack Cloud because their existing systems were struggling to keep up. They needed more resources, and they needed more stability.
And ZStack delivered.
They did. ZStack came to the rescue. Now let's jump over to the manufacturing sector. Shandong Jinquil & Co., Ltd., they make automotive parts. They adopted ZStack Cube HCI and got their cloud up and running in just 48 hours.
48 hours? That's insane.
It is. It's lightning fast. And it shows how quickly and easily ZStack can be deployed even in a complex manufacturing environment.
I bet their IT team was pretty happy about that.
Oh, I'm sure they were. And then you've got Hangzhou Relian Group Co., Ltd. They're a major player in the steel trading business. They built their entire digital cloud foundation on the ZStack cloud platform, and they're actually running their core business operations on it.
So they've gone all in on ZStack.
They have, and they're seeing great results, especially in terms of performance.
Okay, so we've seen financial institutions, universities, manufacturers, all finding success with ZStack.
Right. And there are even more examples. Adama Ltd., an international agricultural company, chose ZStack Cube HCI for their virtualization management upgrade. They wanted unified management, and they wanted to cut costs.
Unified management is key for efficiency, especially for smaller IT teams.
Absolutely. And ZStack delivered on both fronts. And then you've got Luoyang 6 Hospital. They're using ZStack, and they were really impressed with the seamless upgrade process.
Seamless upgrade. That's crucial for a hospital. You can't afford any downtime when lives are on the line.
Exactly. And then there's a provincial hospital that adopted ZStack zSphere virtualization for their core business applications. They were really focused on making things easy for their medical staff.
A good user experience is essential in any industry, but especially in healthcare.
Absolutely. And finally, there's iPig. They're a really interesting company. They created a dual-location data center integration platform using ZStack Cloud because they needed high availability and flexibility.
So ZStack is even capable of supporting those kinds of complex multi-site deployments.
It is. And that's just a taste of the case studies presented in the document. It really showcases the wide range of organizations that are finding success with ZStack across a whole spectrum of industries.
Okay, so it's clear that ZStack is a serious contender. But what does all this mean for our listeners, especially those who are feeling the pinch from VMware's rising costs and are maybe looking for a more affordable solution? What's the takeaway?
The takeaway is that you've got options. You don't have to be held hostage by VMware's pricing. There are alternatives out there, and ZStack is a really compelling one. It's got the features, the performance, the stability, the security, and the support that you need, and it's all at a price that's much more palatable for smaller companies.
So what's the next step? What should our listeners do if they're interested in exploring ZStack further?
Well, if you're in Asia, or if you're looking for a provider with expertise in that region, I highly recommend reaching out to SA Solutions for Asia. They're a leading provider of ZStack solutions, and they can help you assess your needs, develop a migration plan, and implement ZStack seamlessly.
So they're kind of like a one-stop shop for all your ZStack needs.
Exactly. They can guide you every step of the way.
Okay, so to sum it all up, VMware's prices are going up, and that's creating a real challenge for smaller companies who need access to those essential functionalities. But the good news is that there are alternatives. ZStack is a robust, feature-rich, and affordable solution that's already proven itself in a wide range of industries.
And if you're in Asia, SA Solutions for Asia can help you make the switch.
So don't settle for less. Explore your options and see if ZStack can be the solution you've been looking for.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's our deep dive for today. We hope you found it insightful. And as always, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in your IT infrastructure. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you next time.
This deep dive is brought to you by SA Solutions for Asia, empowering you and fortifying your cybersecurity knowledge. Thanks for joining us on the SA podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share, or leave us a comment, and get in touch with us for all your cybersecurity needs. SA Solutions for Asia, empowering you and fortifying your cybersecurity knowledge.